Billy, you know something. What is it?
I'm scared, Bludgeon.
Bullshit. You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us, and it ain't no man. We're all gonna die.
Hey, yo, how the hell's it going, friends? We are back. Episode 26, part 2, In Madness Pod, one of my favorite movies ever. Predator, celebrating the life and memory of Carl Weathers. It's Shawn the Butcher. I'm here with Vertebrae 33. What's up?
Shawn, you son of a bitch.
You son of... Oh, I love this movie so much. I'm glad we finally hit it because I remember when I brought it up to you before, we were like, no, we can't do that unless we do this other movie. And then we're like, that gives us a good idea. We'll get into those good ideas later. But if you want to hit us on the socials at InMadnessPod, InMadnessPod@gmail.com to hit us in the mail sack within the next episode or two. We are diving back in the mail sack. Any question you have about any of our episodes from the past year and now 3+ months, how it is flying by. This is incredible. I can't believe we're keeping up with this, doing these goddamn episodes every week. You should see us behind the scenes clamoring, texting. Oh, tonight? No, I can't tonight. How about tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's no good. Oh, what about this? Just it is so much fun, but it equals the work behind the scenes as much as it does the fun.
Yeah.
So which is why we greatly appreciate you taking your time to listen to us clamor like friggin' psychopaths behind the scenes and on the scenes.
Yeah, the nonsensical machinations that we go through to just get on here and talk about movies that we love is amazing. But that's, the fact that everyone out there is listening to us fuels us to want to do it, to make sure that we don't miss an episode. We haven't taken a break. We give content every single week. We've given plus content at certain points. There's been talk of a Patreon, which at this point I don't even know how we could record any more content. The Patreon could just be us. Maybe it's just discussions of us trying to figure out when we can record. That's
But
that you
cool
pay
stuff
money.
is coming. Cool stuff. Again, I'm going to keep teasing it.
Yes.
Cool stuff is coming, but no matter where you listen, on Apple, on Spotify, even on YouTube, yes, we post this goddamn podcast on YouTube so you can see our t-shirts and our mugs and our toys and our posters and our vinyls, and in some cases in our previous 0.5 Vertebrae whipped out this friggin' comic book that was the size of like a friggin' statue. It was ridiculous. What was it? The EC Comics, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, EC
shout out
Comics
to EC
Archive.
Comics. But no matter where you listen, make sure you give us the 5-star review. Make sure you hit the likes. Whatever you do, push us up that imaginary podcast ladder. Spread the word to your friends. Spread the madness worldwide. Apparently, we got people listening all over the world. One day we'll do the In Madness World Tour. I'll show up with a cardboard cutout of Vertebrae. We'll be in like India, and I'll be like, "What's up, guys? What up, India? Thanks for listening to In Madness." People can high five the We'll do the step and repeat with the Vertebrae cutout. We can have like two different ones, so you're just not
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, one I'm in like casual clothes, and one I'm like I'm a little more dressed up. I love it. One of my favorite podcasts is Blast Point's Star Wars podcast, and they're good friends with Talking Bay, our buddy Brandon from Talking Bay, and they've been doing their podcast for a while now. I think like 2015, I think they started, and now they just got invited to Lucasfilm, and they got a tour of Skywalker Ranch, and all of this stuff was like absolutely amazing and exciting. But I couldn't help but think, like, would I go? Would I go? Would I actually go?
You do Lucas Ranch. You do that.
Yeah, Skywalker Ranch I would do, Lucasfilm I would do, but I think if it was some like obscure horror movie premiere, I think that's Shawn's thing, and he could just FaceTime me afterwards and tell me.
I'd be like, "Look, I got a Dune popcorn bucket."
Oh God.
Anything else you want to get into before we recap and get back into our Predator episode?
I don't think so. I do. If you write in, I would love to hear what movies people want us to talk about. People have suggested that in the past, but I certainly think if you can give a few, we have a bunch of people who will write us on a regular basis. Let's hear what you're interested in. I think we have been we're all over the place with the movie, so we're open to trying different things. We're theming this next group of episodes. I think theming could be a thing for us in the future as well. So maybe it's just a theme of films that you want to give us. Like, hey, could you touch on this? I'd love to hear it. If there's any obscure films that we haven't seen, we'd love to, get on. Maybe we don't do a full episode, but maybe we just talk about them on a 0.5. So
inmadnesspod@gmail.com. Anything you want to talk about, make sure you send us an email.
yeah, that's awesome. Tell us if these guys at this military base, or what was it, the guerrilla
So to
drug
recap what's
cartel?
going on, we got Schwarzenegger, Dutch, and his crew of badass army dudes on what was supposed to be a rescue mission in the jungle. They ended up being a big something completely different. Dylan, the late great Carl Weathers, who used to be friends with Dutch as part of this operation, he did the old heel turn and told Dutch that him and his team are expendable. They put them on a suicide mission. They needed this job done. Dutch's team were expendable assets. As a team, they're not trying to escape the jungle. This camouflage thing from outer space is hunting the entire platoon. It's picking them off one by one. Hawkins, the jokester, is the first one to get gutted, hanging from a tree. However, the platoon only know he's missing and are looking for his body. Jesse the Body Ventura, who's also a member of this platoon, is looking for Hawkins' body and hears a noise in the jungle that turns out to be this cute little porcupine-looking creature. This is where we left you at episode 26, part 1.
And here we go.
Jesse's having a good laugh to himself because he's about to obliterate this little animal with this enormous Tyrannosaurus Rex chainsaw gun. He turns around and blood splatters everywhere. From behind, another shot comes from the trees, and you could see it. It comes from this camouflage thing in the trees, sort of laser blast. It bursts through Jesse, right through his chest, shooting even more obscene amount of blood. Mac turns around and he sees his buddy drop to the floor, dead. Mac rushes over to his body. He looks up in the trees and he sees it. This camouflage thing. It almost looks like it's water. The eyes of this thing beam yellow, and we see it make its escape. And Mac yells, "Sergeant!" at the top of his lungs and begins firing like a maniac. We see this camouflage thing running, and it brushes past the leaf, and it leaves behind this little neon green glowing substance. Mac runs out of bullets in his gun. He picks up Jesse the Body chainsaw Tyrannosaurus Rex gun, and he starts spraying bullets everywhere, chopping down trees with bullets. Then the rest of the platoon catches up with Mac, and they do the same. Thousands of bullets firing into the jungle. No one knows what the hell they're shooting at, but god damn it, are they shooting. They're launching grenades, reloading clips, blowing the jungle up. They finish firing. They can't see anything. The jungle is a cloud of smoke. Mac is still holding the trigger of this enormous chainsaw gun, and you just see the barrels spinning and spinning and spinning, even though it's out of ammo. For like 20 seconds, he's still holding the trigger, and then finally he lets it go.
Two things from this. One, like, they just all jump in and like that. Okay, this is what we're doing. We're just gonna mow down this whole, like, no questions asked. They're all just joining in. They're all experts at what they do. So, it's hitting the fan. Let's join in. And then there's a small part of me that's like, was that cute little animal? Was he able to get away? Was he able to get away from this? Did he happen to walk in that same direction? Like, that's bad news. And I wonder too where they filmed it. Like, were they able to film this in the jungle of Mexico, or was this cutaways to shots of things getting mowed down in a studio or something? But yeah, this is an insanely intense scene. This goes on for a long period of time. They're just all like, I don't know how many bullets they bring with them, Shawn. How many bullets do they bring? It's a lot.
I mean, and I love because the chainsaw gun, like, it's got a backpack full of bullets, so it could just probably go and go and go. That thing is nasty.
Yeah.
I love this. Dutch creeps up. He asks Mac, "What happened?" Mac goes, "I saw it." Dutch says, "You saw what?" Mac says, "I saw it." I love that line.
Mm-hmm.
Dutch looks at him confused. Mac looks horrified. Dylan rolls over the dead body. We see the whole middle blown out, ribs exposed. They notice no powder burns, no shrapnel. The wound is fused and cauterized. What the hell could have done this? Dutch tells Mac, "Look at me. What did this?" Max says, I don't know, God damn it. I saw something. Pancho comes out of the woods telling Dutch not a fucking trace, no blood, no bodies. We hit nothing.
Mm.
Whoa. Dutch calls him Mac, but he's in a trance, and then he yells, Sergeant, which finally snaps Mac to attention. Dutch says he wants him to set up defensive positions, arm it with everything we got. Our female hostage approaches the leaf with the glowing green substance on it, blood from the thing that they shot. She very ignorantly touches the blood and wipes it on her pants, which is like putting a goddamn target on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, too, you don't know from other films, like you touch that liquid and then you're infected with something. The predator blood is a mix of jelly and glow sticks.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the color of it. I love the look of it. It reminds me of slime and ooze. It's like the perfect color.
I think that's also unique. I don't know that we've seen that before this film, too. They both, Predator and Alien, right? One has the acid blood and one's got this glowing green blood, which obviously if you hit it makes it easy for you to track it if it's dripping this glowing blood.
Quite convenient.
Hmm.
They begin booby trapping the jungle. Mac tells Dutch he's got it all taken care of. Nothing's coming around here without tripping on something. Dutch tells him his buddy was a good soldier and horribly sad. Mac says he was my friend. Oof.
Hmm.
He looks crushed by his buddy being dead. He returns to his dead friend. We get this horribly sad music. The strings are playing in the background. Mac takes out his flask, takes a long sip, puts it on his dead buddy's chest and says, goodbye, bro, and covers him with the body bag.
Hmm.
Really sad moment for such an intense action-packed flick.
Yes.
Cut to our hostage lady friend who seems to now be regretting the fact that she smeared the slimy neon green substance that she doesn't know what it is onto her pants because now they are glowing like a toxic waste dump. Cut to another spot, we see the camouflage creature, as Vertebrae likes to say, which also now I always say, the creature is drippings with goo. It's this neon green substance. It's bleeding. It takes a seat on the log after a long-ass day and clicks some buttons on its wrist. The camouflage fades away, and we see it's this reptilian, alien-looking hands. It begins opening all these compartments like the bat belt with all the Batman's little nifty utility devices on it.
He has like a little surgical like med kit in there. Now he's got to have snacks with him, right?
Little Doritos, little Predator Doritos.
Yeah, or like something like it's like a Pringles can that's in there somewhere.
Little Predator snack pack.
Yeah. Or what does he eat? Does he eat? He doesn't eat humans, right? He's hunting them. So I wonder what he chomps on.
They allude to that in the second movie,
right? But as of now in this film, we don't know.
Yeah. Probably just Who knows? I would think it would be humans, but I guess not. It's more of a trophy collection thing for him. Yeah, I don't know what he eats, but I would imagine some type of meat. Predator looks like a meat eater.
I would love it if he hit it like a little button and like this like juice box pops out with the straw.
Little straw. It's got his little surgical pouch. It applies some sort of numbing agent. It pulls out a little clamp to shut the wound. It snaps shut, and this motherfucker screams, lets out this howling shriek. We get a good look at the creature, and we see it's wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Our lady hostage friend hears the scream, as does Billy Badass, who's right behind her. Dylan's on the radio trying to get them airlifted the hell out of there, but the government's like, nah, you guys are still in a crappy area. Go somewhere else, and we'll get you. Dylan tells Dutch they won't come get us till we're in a safer place. Dutch tells him we're expendable assets, Dylan. Dylan says it comes with the job. I can accept it. Dutch calls him on his sit and he says, you're just like the rest of us. Matt comes back looking sad as hell. Dylan has to call him a couple times before he even acknowledges him. He says, Mac, what hit us today? He says he doesn't know. He saw one camouflage, but those eyes disappeared. Dutch is like, what? Max says, the eyes, they disappeared. I capped off 200 rounds in the MiG in a full pack. Nothing on this earth could have lived. They asked Billy Badass, you know something. What is it? Billy Badass says, I'm scared, Pancho.
Oops. And this is the original Expendables, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the original right here.
Pancho says, bullshit, you ain't afraid of no man. Billy goes, there's something out there waiting for us, and it ain't no man. We're all gonna die. And just walks away.
Yeah, hooray.
Great delivery. Thank you. Captain Positivity, Billy Badass. Dylan gets mad and says Billy's just losing his cool. It's something but a couple guys running around out there. Dutch says, you don't understand. Whatever it is, it killed Hopper, and now it wants us. Full moon's out. We get another sad moment between Mac and dead Jesse the Body. Mac is looking at the full moon shining off his face. He's like, here we are again, bro. Just you and me, same kind of moon, same kind of jumble. Real number 10 night. Whole platoon, 32 men chopped into meat. We walk out, just you and me, nobody else, right on top. Not a scratch, not a fucking scratch. You know, whoever got you is going to come back. And when he does, I'm going to cut your name right into him. I'm going to cut your name right into him. Crazy.
Wow, what a dedication, huh? If he's gonna take the time to do that afterwards. Wow.
He loves Jesse the Body.
Yeah, they were close. I don't know, outside of this if they were close, but I'd like to think they were. That they were, gonna get together, retire and get together.
Play golf. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe meet on a fishing boat at, say, Wataneo or something like that.
I mean, the boat's going to be called Sexual Tyrannosaurus. Behind him, Mac hears a noise. Billy also hears it, slowly wakes up, and boom, one of the booby trap goes off. We hear an animal noise, sort of like a camouflaged creature. Mac tackles it, begins tussling with it. The whole platoon's running over to him. Mac takes an enormous knife out and starts stabbing, and there's blood splattering everywhere. We hear this creature cry out in agony. Dutch and Pancho finally catch up. They shine their light on it. They see Mac, and he's saying, I killed you. I got you. They shine the light on the animal and see he just butchered a wild pig in the jungle. Then they notice the girl's missing, but they quickly find her and she looks horrified. They're asking why she didn't run away. Dutch says she's scared out of her mind. Billy calls Dutch over. You better take a look at this. And they notice Jesse the Body's dead body is gone. Pancho says it came through the tripwires and it took it right out from under our noses. Dutch and Dylan look at each other concerned. Later on, Billy tells him the wild pig set off the booby trap because there ain't no other tracks. Pancho's asking how anyone could get through and carry out the body without them knowing. Why didn't it try to kill one of us? Dutch says it came to get the body. It's killing us one at a time. And Billy says, like a hunter. Camera zooms in on Dutch's face, and now it's all coming together. He stops, he looks up, and he's using the trees. They figured it out.
And if they kept this movie called The Hunter, we would have had the title. I love when they say the title of the movie in the movie. We would have had it right there, but that at least alludes to the original title.
I like when they don't say the title of the movie in the movie.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. It gives me a douche chill.
Yeah, I think that's why I like it. I don't know why.
They
did it.
It always seems so forced.
I know. It makes it fun. Now we got to count how many films we see where they do that.
They do it. Yeah. This one, they don't. They don't say predator once in this movie, I don't think.
No.
Dutch grabs the hostage girl and asks again what she saw. Now, in English, she finally speaks. I don't know what it was. It changes colors like the chameleon. It uses the jungle. Dylan says, so you're saying our men were killed by a lizard? That's bullshit. There's 2 or 3 men out there the most. Dutch asks her name. Her name's Anna. He pulls out a knife. He says, Anna, this thing is hunting us. All of us. He cuts her hands free. Dylan gets mad. He says, I'm taking her back. We're out of here in 5. Dutch says, we're not going anywhere. Dylan tells him the rendezvous is 10 to 12 miles away. You think the chopper's going to wait? We make a stand now, or there will be nobody left to get to the chopper.
and just like the grandmom in Krampus, Anna can speak English. So they've been... Just like that, they've been dancing around. Everybody's trying to speak Spanish to her, and then just out of nowhere, boom! It's okay. I speak English.
I forgot about the grandma. Yeah, check out episode 1 of In Madness Pod where we covered Krampus. Very cool. Oh, the progressions we've made. And it says there's something else. When the big man was killed, you must have wounded it. Its blood was on the leaves, and out comes Arnold with the classic line: "If it bleeds, we can kill it." Cut to a montage of the platoon booby trap in the jungle once again. Buff, sweaty muscles. You really think this Boy Scout shit's gonna work? Dylan says. Dutch tells him it can see the tripwires. Maybe you can't see this. Instead of complaining, maybe you should help. Cut to more buff, sweaty muscle montage, just peak physical condition, the complete opposite of what you see right now on your screens on YouTube of me and Vertebrae 33.
I mean, they're pulling trees down like almost like slingshots in a way, like they're just roping them with the vines and then pulling them down like that's, and it's just Arnold's just doing one by himself, like he just bend trees down like no problem.
They complete the booby trap. They sit silently and wait. We see Max shaving his bare, sweating face. Dylan's watching him, and Max stops with the razor on his face and applies so much pressure that he breaks the razor, and we see a cut across his cheek, which is like always bothers me to look at that.
Yeah, and
So
it's a
gnarly.
weird habit he has, like where he's kind of just shaving when they're there. Maybe it's like, just comforts him in these types of situations or something. But yeah, yeah. That one
My s-
freaks me out a little.
my skin would be so agitated.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you don't have like a you
I
don't
need
have an
after.
aftershave.
I need aftershave. I need like a.
Yeah.
I need shaving cream. I can't just do it with my sweat. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, I think the Predator would be prepared because in his little kit, he'd have like a little bit of aftershave, or maybe the Predator blood, the glowing green blood, makes a really good aftershave or something. I don't know.
yeah, you'd be glow in the dark after. And it tells Dutch, when I was little, we found a man. He looked butchered. Like the old women in the village whispered crazy things. Only in the hottest years this happens. And this year it grows hot. We begin finding our men. We found them sometimes without their skin and sometimes much, much worse. She says, the demon who makes trophies of man. And Dutch is not stoked.
Hmm.
They're waiting for something to happen, but nothing does. Birds flap their wings, which alerts everyone, but nothing comes of it. And sarcastically, Dylan says to Dutch, what are you going to try next? Cheese? Which gives Dutch an idea. He needs bait. So Dutch slowly walks right out into the open, using himself as bait. He's standing out there silent for a long, tense amount of time, and nothing happens. So everyone eases back. Dutch puts down his weapon, turns around, and pop! A booby trap right behind him springs open a net like something was creeping up right on his ass. And we hear the Predator scream, but you can't see anything in the net. Then it shoots out one of its laser beams and frees itself, and also shoots an enormous tree branch, which comes flying down and clotheslines Poncho.
Mm.
Again, Max sees it. The camouflage Predator jumps to a tree. He begins shooting at it. Then Dylan finally sees it too. The camouflage wears off, and Dylan can see it clear as day, the Predator hanging from the tree.
Hmm.
It camouflages again and jumps, and the chase is on. Mac is running through the jungle, firing his gun. Dylan goes after him. The rest of the crew scoop up Poncho. We see Mac running through the jungle, singing the Little Richard song they were blasting in the beginning, Long Tall Sally. He keeps repeating, I'm going to have myself some fun. I'm going to have myself some fun. You could check out that song on the In Madness playlist, where we put every single song that we talk about on this entire series of episodes onto that playlist. It goes everywhere from soundtracks of the movies to songs that have sampled clips of these movies that play all on the In Madness playlist on Spotify. So Max singing to himself, Dylan's following his tracks. Max sees him and whispers, turn around. Dylan hears him but can't see him. He begins creeping around, and an arm pops out of nowhere, covers his mouth, and it's Mac who pulls him close and says, shh. He nods his head and he says, out there past them trees. He points and says, you see it? And we, the audience, can see it. The camouflage Predator out in the distance. And Matt goes, I see you. Cool. Dylan takes a long, hard look and he goes, I see it. They devise a plan to kill it. Max says he's got a score to settle. Dylan says we both got scores to settle. The men begin sneaking around to execute their plan to kill this thing. They begin slowly approaching from different angles. Fucking Matt gets on his back, laying down, pulling himself through these branches. He stops when he notices 3 red dots in the shape of a triangle shining on his forearm like a laser.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it, the lizard, alien, reptilian predator. I can't do it. The clicking noise. Mac moves his head to see what it is. The 3 red triangle dots shine right on his forehead, and boom, from the back, we see Mac's head explode, dead.
And those 3 dots, Shawn, this the third time I'm saying this during this film. I think it's the first time we've seen that too. Or it's usually just kind of like one red dot. So it's definitely different. I don't know that I've seen it like that before.
This movie rules. Everything about it. Everything about it rules. Dylan stops for a moment because he thinks he heard something, but he happened so quick he thinks nothing of it and continues sneaking around. We see standing right above Mac the Predator, camouflaged with the red laser pointer shining. It walks off, and we just see Mac's leg twitching. Crazy.
Mhm.
We see the platoon making a run for it. Anna goes to grab Poncho's gun, but Dutch tells her to leave it. The thing didn't kill you because you didn't have a gun. It's no sport.
Mm.
Cut back to Dylan. He's still hunting this thing. He has no idea Mac's dead until he moves aside some leaves, and staring right back at him, dead with his eyes wide open, is Mac. Once again, we hear it from behind Dylan. We hear Mac's voice say, "Anytime." Followed by the Predator cackle. Dylan is frozen in place, looking around, and finally sees it camouflaged. He can see it. The Predator's eyes flash. Dylan slowly lifts his gun. We see the Predator's red laser sight shine on, and when Dylan pulls the trigger, the Predator fires off one shot. Little laser beam blast, which hits Dylan's arm. We see the gun fall out of his hand. Then we see not only his gun, but his entire arm up to the shoulder detached from his body. And the arm falls to the floor, still holding the trigger. So the gun is still firing bullets on the floor. Dylan's screaming, looking through the jungle. We see it, the camouflage Predator running directly at him. Dylan pulls out another gun, and we see this retractable claw like Wolverine pop out from the Predator's hand. Dylan lets off a shot, but snatch. Predator sticks Dylan right in the chest with the claw, lifts him in the air. Dylan screams in agony, fires off some shots, dead. In the distance, we see the rest of the platoon walking across the enormous downed tree that's acting like a bridge for them to get over this wide gap, and they hear Dylan scream. They hear the gunshots. They hear him die. Rest in peace, Dylan. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm.
Billy's had enough. He throws down his gun. Dutch begins to yell at him to continue on, but Billy Badass is not having it. He takes off his vest. He rips off the pouch from around his neck that he was rubbing, takes out his machete, and cuts his entire chest open like Sagat from Street Fighter.
Oh, and this is obviously, he's like, this is his last stand. They've been through so much already. Mac seemed like that was kind of going to be his last stand too. They just realized they're up against something that they don't even understand, and there's kind of no way they can win. And we'll see more of Billy's people in another film, actually. But yeah, this is it.
He's sitting there waiting for this thing to do battle, and we see it from the Predator's point of view with the heat vision. It begins approaching Billy, who we see standing there with the machete. Dutch, Anna, and Poncho are still running through the jungle to get to the chopper, and we hear Billy let out this horrifying scream. It stops them dead in their tracks. They turn around with weapons drawn, looking down this long corridor of the jungle, waiting for this thing to jump their ass. They stand there silently until Anna looks off in the distance up in a tree, and we see it camouflage Predator. Shoots out another laser blast. This thing hits poor Poncho right in the head. Dead. All this dude's been through, and now he's gone. Anna goes to grab his gun, and Arnold screams, "No!" and kicks it out of her hand and starts firing his weapon at Predator, who then fires out another laser blast, hitting Dutch, knocking him on his ass. He turns to Anna, lets out the classic line, "You want to do it? You want to do a vertebrae? Do it.
You do him so good. Come on.
Run! Get to the chopper!"
And when we were doing, before we had decided to do this movie during the Super Bowl, they had the Super Bowl commercial with Arnold in it where he couldn't say neighbor, and he would just say neighbor.
So I think they got that from another classic Simpsons bit where they have the character McBain, who is a Arnold Schwarzenegger character on The Simpsons, and he is Radioactive Man. And in the movie, he's supposed to say up and atom, and he keeps saying up and at them. And they say up and atom, and he goes up and at them. So I think they took, it's like a mockery of Schwarzenegger from The Simpsons that they then reapplied to reality with Schwarzenegger. Yeah, so it's pretty funny. I think. Everything connects back to The Simpsons for me. Anna runs off. Dutch stumbles to his feet and begins running through the jungle. The chase is on. We see Predator point of vision with the heat vision, watching Dutch run away. Now we see it's right on his ass, right behind Dutch, chasing him through the jungle. But then Dutch stumbles and ends up on this dirt slide. It dumps his ass right off a cliff like Paul Sheldon in Misery. into the most beautiful, crystal clear blue water you've ever seen. And if that's not enough, he takes another plunge off an enormous waterfall into even more beautiful, crystal clear blue water. Dutch swims his ass to shallow water and eventually finds his way to land. He claws his way out of the water and he lays face down in this puddle of mud. He relaxes for all of 3 seconds before crash. Right behind him, camouflage predator falls right into the water, making a huge splash. Dutch, covered in mud, begins crawling out of the water, trying to find shelter. We see the water moving like Jaws is underneath it, but we don't see anything there. Dutch reaches for his gun or his knife, but it's all gone. He puts his back against this enormous down tree with a bunch of branches and roots hanging out of it. He wraps himself around him. He's got no place else to go. And finally, the predator emerges from the water. We see the camouflage malfunction, almost sparking. This like dreadlocked hair underneath this mask rises out of the water and it begins walking right towards Dutch. He's staring straight at it. It seems to walk past him. You still see it sparking and malfunctioning till it touches some little buttons on its little digital wristband, turning off the camouflage, and we see the predator standing there, looking around, puzzled. It seems to look right at Dutch, who thinks he's busted, but then we see from the predator point of view using the heat vision, it's looking right where Dutch is, and it scans the area and seems to scan over Dutch. Something else glowing red is getting its attention. The predator puts its laser sights on it. We see a small gun from its shoulder aim where the laser is pointing, but it's not at Dutch. He's watching this happen like, what the hell is going on? The predator fires a laser shot at it and kicks over a log, and we see this little rat possum thing.
Oh, maybe that was this Shawn. Maybe that's the same one. See?
The porcupine creature, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that was him. The gun that's on his shoulder too looks a lot like what the Nostromo found in the original Alien. It has a very similar shape to it, or they allude to it a little bit with it. It's not exact, but it's a little. It's the most Giger like thing that has to do with Predator.
Wow. Our little jungle friend shrieks and runs off. Predator's upset, still scanning the jungle, looking for Dutch, but seems to slump its shoulders in defeat and head off in another direction. Dutch lets out a huge sigh of relief that his cover didn't get blown and he's not dead. He wipes the mud off him, curious, and sees the predator frolicking off in the distance and says he couldn't see me. Whoa. Now he's got his own camouflage. How the tables have turned.
Except,
oh no, not facts.
well, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't understand. How does it not see his eyes? Would his eyes be warm? They have to be. Wouldn't they be red and yellow dots? And also, when we head into this part, he's running all over the place, and this mud is drying up on his body. There's no way he doesn't sense some heat coming through there, right?
There's got to be a way out of this. There's got to be a way to use the jungle against the predator somehow.
I guess if he has his eyes closed, maybe the mud on the eyelids would keep him from seeing it. If you can figure this out, explain it to me.
It's like Jurassic Park when they say, "Oh, T-Rex can't see you if you stand still." It's like, who made that shit up? But it's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll believe that the predator can't see him if he's got mud on him.
Yeah, it's an amazingly clever story device. It doesn't hold water if you really think about it. But then if the movie we've seen so far for the last hour and 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from it. But having seen this movie so many times, when I watch it, that's, where my mind goes. I start thinking, well, I don't know. Does he have to reapply? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Dutch begins formulating his plan. He begins thinking like the predator. He's going to use the trees and the camouflage and the mud and his own little array of weapons to make things that he finds around the jungle. We get another muscle montage. Dutch setting up traps, lifting a huge log in the air, locking it in place with a stick. We see the predator in a tree, throws down Billy's body on a branch, reaches in his back, tears out his goddamn spine up to his skull, holds it in the air like a trophy, and just kicks Billy's body off the branch, sending him plummeting to the ground, probably folding up like an accordion because he's got no freaking spinal column. Then lays the spine and skull out and blows this kind of like liquid nitrogen smoke onto it. We see Dutch sitting by a fire making weapons, a bow and arrow, which he shoots through a tree stump. He takes out some grenades, he opens them up and dumps the little powder into leaves. He's making little leaf bombs or something.
Mm.
We see the Predator. Oh, yeah, what's up?
No, I was just laughing at when he's making that bow. He's just got it like over his shoulder. It's just a pure scene of Arnold like kind of
Flexing.
working out, yeah, just flexing.
We see the Predator. He opens up this little blankie he's got with all these skulls in it. No snack pack, though. I'm assuming
Mm.
skulls of the rest of the platoon, since one has an enormous blast to the head, which I'm assuming is Max's skull.
Mhm.
Cut to Dutch applying mud to his face like war paint, now covered in mud with a full moon out, looking towards the beautiful waterfall. Dutch lights a torch on fire and gives off his own battle cry. It lets out a roar, alerting the Predator, letting him know shit's about to go down. Predator shines his laser sightings onto this retractable Wolverine claw he's got, making it glow red hot. Dutch tosses the torch into even bigger fire to get the Predator where he wants him, and then Dutch runs off and climbs a tree and waits patiently.
And he does reapply there too. He's starting to reapply the mud right before that. So at least we have it there.
Reapplication.
Exactly.
He's staring at the fire, looking around, waiting, and he hears it. The Predator clicking. I can't do it. As it's climbing right past Dutch, who looks right behind him over his shoulder and sees this thing a mere matter of inches away from him. But he doesn't know he's there because he, too, is camouflage. Dutch, using a rope, swings out of the tree onto another tree, grabs it, and the Predator hears something but doesn't see anything. So it continues towards the fire. Dutch pulls out his little leaf bomb arrow that he made. Predator slowly approaches the fire. Dutch takes aim and fires a bomb at it, exploding right in front of the Predator. Shocked, it turns around and using its little shoulder Nostromo gun, it begins firing wildly into the jungle.
Mm.
We get this great shot of Predator, like it's this wide open shot, shooting into the night, blowing up the jungle. It's like this fucking awesome fireworks display. He fires all those shots and ironically hits nothing.
Mm.
Dutch falls out of the tree to the ground and runs away. The Predator's firing off right behind him. Dutch finds a safe spot, but he's bleeding and injured from the fall out of the tree. While he's running, he hits a little branch, which shakes a little bit and gets the Predator's attention. And now the chase is on. Dutch is on the move, running across his giant downed tree covered in vines. Predator jumps right in front of him. He stops dead in his tracks. We see Predator looking around, but Dutch, covered in mud, camouflaged, has shimmied his way to the bottom side of this tree branch, holding on to vines.
Amazingly, in 3 seconds, he's
In a
able
millisecond.
yeah, he's just able to get underneath and hang there, and the Predator doesn't. So I guess we're to assume, does he? So he's a hunter. Does he hear things?
Predator?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because he hears the
Yeah,
and
he hears their
he
voices
analyzes.
and stuff,
Yeah,
but yeah, but like his suit is malfunctioning now a little. So I wonder if he's not hearing as good. And I'm explaining it to have it make more sense.
It's
But
like T-1000 when he starts malfunctioning. Yeah.
yeah, he's glitching right now. Yeah.
Also an Arnold movie.
Yeah.
As the Predator is stalking above him, searching, but it walks right over Dutch and continues on into the jungle. Dutch grabs more weapons. He can't find the Predator, so he picks up a rock and chucks it away from him to make a noise, and the Predator, also camouflaged up in a tree, shoots at the rock, giving up the Predator's position, letting Dutch know where it is. So he sort of smiles to himself and takes this makeshift spear he made with a grenade at the end of it and launches it at the Predator, exploding as the Predator jumps from the tree. We get this awesome shot of Dutch. Now he's on the move. The Predator now becoming the prey. As Dutch is approaching with another weapon, a long spear with a knife at the end of it. As he's walking, we see the neon green glow of the Predator blood. He hit it with this bomb spear. He's following the traces of the neon green blood. We get this killer shot of Dutch covered in mud, following the blood tracks into this small, tight little dark area. And when he enters it, this is what you're talking about with the eyes. You only see the silhouette of Dutch, and his eyes are glowing white, and it looks crazy. It's an awesome shot. He's staring at all this neon green blood looking for the predator, and from behind him, a steady stream of neon green ooze blood begins running behind him, and he hears it dripping and freezes, and behind him, the predator's leg comes down. We see through the predator heat vision right behind Dutch. It knows he's there, but it can't see him. Dutch lights this like flash grenade. I don't know what it is. It creates a distraction, and he makes a run for it, and he goes to jump on a tree branch. Predator fires a shot off at him, but he doesn't hit anything. The branch breaks, and Dutch falls into the water. Dutch swims back to land. He swims up and grabs onto a log on the ground. His mud camouflage is gone. We get this wide shot. We see it looks like he is alone. There's nothing there. He slowly gets up, and smack right above his head around his neck comes the retractable Wolverine predator claw, trapping Dutch by his neck on the log. Predator picks up Dutch by his neck and slams him against the wall. We see there's about a foot size difference between the two, because Dutch, who's massive, is a foot off the ground by his neck, and he's looking Predator in the eye. And then we see through Predator's heat vision, Dutch is no longer camouflage. We see his face glowing, and Predator is just looking at his face, but like it's like turning his chin and looking at him like, this can't be a human. Like, I kill humans, so you must be some different form of hunter or whatever. So it's just looking at it like, Arnold, like, what freak of nature are you?
Well, I think it's almost right. What we're going to get after this is, okay, enough with all of these devices, enough with all this playing around. Now it's just me and you, and I've been eyeing you up from the beginning. And I'm about to show you my real face. So let's get it on. And he kind of analyzes him and sees that his face, it's almost like he sees his face doesn't have a mask over it or anything over it. So he's like, okay, he doesn't have that, then I don't need that, and let's go.
Predator has had enough. Drops Dutch, walks back a few feet like it's squaring off to have a duel. We see the bleeding neon green ooze from its leg. Slowly turns back around and faces Dutch, who looks very confused by what the hell is happening. Finally, we get it. The Predator pulls out these breathing tubes connected to its mask. It removes its shoulder gun and drops it in the water. It unhinges its mask and slowly takes it off, and we see the heat vision go from all blue to all red. It drops the mask in the water, and Dutch takes a long, disgusted look. And finally, after 90 minutes into this movie, with only 10 minutes remaining, we finally get a crystal clear look at our Predator, which is a beautiful sight. One of the most vile looking creatures, monsters, aliens, whatever the hell you want to call it. Just a masterpiece. I don't even know how to describe it. It's got like dreadlocks. It looks like satanic, evil, demonic. The mouth opens from four sides. It's got these gigantic fangs. It's like snake and lizard, reptile, like just pure badass.
And this is my milking of the alpacas moment. I know we've gone through the whole movie, but like, I get to see this creature, and they went through a lot of different ideas on this creature, and they settled on like those kind of like those mandible claw type like mouth things or whatever they are. And part of that comes from Stan Winston is on a flight. He's on a plane headed to Fox Studios, and he runs into James Cameron, and James Cameron says he always wanted to see a creature with mandibles. So Stan Winston's like, that's a great idea, and they roll it into this creature. So there's James Cameron having a little bit of input on this film. And this is the fourth or fifth time I'll say it, but we've not seen a creature like this before at all, and neither is James Cameron, and he's, I'm sure, watched a lot of horror movies and monster movies. And this is amazing. I do wonder, there's all that hissing and stuff when he takes the helmet off, so like he breathes oxygen after he takes it off. So I'm not sure why he needed it. Like, he needs it on to see the heat vision and to do all that, but I'm not sure what all the hissing and everything was about, because he's breathing fine.
It's probably like Bane power, like the mask probably gives him Bane power or whatever, and then he could take the mask off. Maybe he's like a fish. He can be on the water, on the land. Maybe he can function for a short amount of time, or maybe it gives him like that adrenaline rush, and that's so he can kick Dutch's ass a little harder.
I think maybe, Shawn, it's the juice box that I was talking about, and those are just the tubes. Or he's just like Sunny D. He's just got Sunny D directly pumped into the helmet, and he just no more Sunny D. Now it's time to get serious.
That was time to kick your ass. And that's why I love that there wasn't Twitter at this time, because 5 minutes after this movie was released, the Predator's image would be all over Twitter. And I love that the surprise you had of seeing this movie and waiting 90 minutes until the very end for this creature to like show its true self. I love that. I love the
Mm.
reveal, and I love that it was able to be hidden from the times. Dutch takes a long, hard, disgusted look and gives us the quote of the century. Vertebrae, do you want to do it?
What does he say? You ugly motherfucker.
You are one ugly
There,
motherfucker.
there you go.
Predator takes one more calm look at Dutch and then lets out his chilling roar. It opens its arms wide and crouches down into a battle position. It's one of the coolest looking moves and shots in like monster history. Iconic, I would say. And it's not looking to shoot Dutch or take him out the quick way. This thing wants hand-to-hand combat. It wants to tear him limb from limb. Epic. Dutch picks up the largest branch you could find next to him, goes to whack Predator with it. Predator lifts its hand, and the whole branch crushes into dust against its forearm. And Dutch says to himself, bad idea. Dutch runs and gives Predator one solid shot in the face, stopping it in his tracks. And once it recovers, Predator proceeds to beat the ever-loving shit out of Dutch. As it whoops his ass, Dutch keeps crawling, but crawling with a purpose. We see him crawl into this tiny ditch, and then we see it. It's one of the booby traps he set up earlier. It's a tiny ditch, but it's surrounded with all these little spikes. Dutch reaches the end of the ditch. The Predator is following him in and retracts its Wolverine claw. Like, this is it. I'm going in for the kill. I've had enough of this. It follows Dutch into this tiny space. We see him look at the little lever he made to execute his booby trap. But right as Predator gets close, it stops. And again, we get the epic dialogue.
I got this one. Come on, do it.
Come on, kill me. I'm here. Do it now. Kill me. I'm here.
No, you had the whole thing. You had the whole thing. See, I only had a little bit, but
Predator pokes its head onto one of the spikes and feels it and looks and sees it and all the rest of the spikes and knows that this is a trap and stops. And instead of going around, it goes around the spikes. And for a moment, Dutch looks horrified, like his plan is faltered, like he is screwed up and now he's going to die because of it. Predator walks around the trap and jumps into the ditch right next to Dutch, who then looks like he's got it fooled because it was all part of the plan. He looks up. Right next to him, this enormous tree stump. He was propping it up earlier to hang from the trees when he was devising his plan. Dutch kicks the little branch, which triggers the device, which comes crashing down head first right onto the Predator. Dutch is relieved until the goddamn stump begins moving because they always come back.
yeah, Dutch has not seen many horror films, I don't think. He sighs, he kind of, it's over, but yeah, not over.
We hear the Predator making its lizard-like alien clicking noise. Dutch picks up an enormous rock ready to bash its brains in, and then we see it, Predator trapped under this massive tree. Neon green blood ooze everywhere. It coughs, and a stream of green ooze goo shoots out of his mouth onto his face. Dutch shows it mercy and throws the rock down the hill. Dutch asks, what the hell are you? And copying his voice like it did earlier with the other members of the platoon, it repeats back. But also, I feel like is asking the same question. What the hell are you?
Absolutely. And I don't know why Dutch hesitates here. This is one, I mean, obviously he's already seen it. This isn't the reveal to him, but it's a weird moment where he feels bad, that this is not very sporting way to, I don't know. I'm not sure. They would have, if that had crushed him to death, then it would have been over right then and there. So it's a weird pause for him, but that's, we don't get this fun little reveal if this doesn't happen.
Predator opens up his little digital wrist pad device and types in some code, and we see these red images and shapes. The one on Vertebrae's hoodie he's got there, and I'm
Mhm.
assuming it's these little like alien Predator numbers, and they begin slowly vanishing and beeping and vanishing faster and beeping louder. Dutch is watching this, figuring it out as it's happening, and then the goddamn Predator starts mimicking Billy Badass's laughter and just
Mm.
starts laughing as the self-destruct clock is counting down. Dutch knows it's time to move. We see the Predator laughing its ass off, just like Vertebrae. The countdown ends. Lightning
Uh,
forms around the spot the Predator's laying, and Dutch is on the run. He jumps and kablooey.
That's the Apple Watch I want with the 4 screens.
With the
If I was
fucking
getting an Apple
self-destruct button.
yeah, like, it goes up your wrist like it's a wristband, and you can have the countdown. That'd be amazing.
Vertebrae's at a party he doesn't want to be at, uncomfortable, and everyone's asking him how he is, and he just starts typing in the self-destruct code. I'm like,
Just start
Vertebrae,
cackling.
no!
No, just start laughing. No, I could just have the time that I told them I was going to be at the party. Like, oh, I could stay an hour, and I just as soon as I walk in, I hit the countdown clock. But it will be in those numbers, so people won't know as I approach the time that I'm just going to leave the party without saying goodbye to anybody. Will be right when that hits the right number.
When Vertebrae hits the self-destruct button, I'm leaving the party. We cut inside the chopper. They made it. Anna is inside. The explosion causes some of the gear and the chopper to blow up and malfunction, but they're okay. There's also a few men inside the chopper, and one of the dudes in the chopper, the one that goes, "What the?" That's the Predator, right?
Yep, that's him.
That's the same guy who's in the Predator costume. We see from the inside the chopper looking out an enormous black mushroom cloud, remnants from the explosion. The chopper flies overhead, the smoke clears, and there he is, our hero, Dutch, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. This sort of melancholy, bittersweet music begins to play. The chopper lands in front of Dutch, clearing all the smoke. There's this dope shot of him just standing there, and the helicopter's like coming down and hovering over him.
Mhm.
Cut to inside the chopper. There's a general and Anna staring at Dutch, happy he's alive. And we see Dutch absolutely over it, torn to shit, beat up, bloody, muddy, covered in ash. He is wiped out. He looks out the helicopter window. The iconic Predator music kicks in. Dun, 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 as the helicopter flies off into the sunset. Fade to black. The end. However, I love this ending credit scene when it's like a sitcom intro for every
Yeah.
member of the crew.
Yeah. This is
They're
very
like, they
silly.
turn around and like thumbs up the camera and let out a laugh and like catch a gun and like wink at the camera. Like it's so it's a brilliant you get reintroduced to everybody who's had their spines torn out up to their skulls.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting way to end the film. Um, but this film, the way it ends, you're guaranteeing that they're going to make a sequel, right? When you first see this movie, you're like, "Oh, I have to see what happens next, and we have to know more about that predator or predators." Or we'll get into it later on in another episode. Kind of they've they've backfilled that story as they went along and elaborated on it. But for this film, it's the first time we see this stuff. It's super impactful, and it's Sean, where do you land on xenomorphs or predators? Which side are you on?
Xenomorphs.
Yeah, you lean towards xenomorphs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what do you lean more towards? Xenomorph acid blood or predator neon green blood?
Hmm. Well, if the acid blood is handled as silly as it is in Aliens, then
Leave it alone.
then I would lean towards the predator. But yeah, this is the beginning of what's a humongous franchise in books and comics and other films and team up films and sequels and prequels and reimaginations, but nothing up until recently can touch Predator in this universe.
I also have Predator toys. I love Predator. I mean, I'm a Xenomorph guy, but I respect the Predator. I'm gonna put some of my Predator toy pictures up on the socials at In Madness Pod. Did you get all your gnarly bits in for episode 26, part 2? Predator, rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
I did. We've got the juice box machine for the dispenser. I would love it too if it was like a Pez, like the Predator. I was just thinking it had like the little Pez where you just flip the thing back and the little candies come out. I definitely got an Apple. Please make that Apple Watch where there's 4 screens right next to it, so I
So
can Apple
Vertebrae can
wristband.
self-destruct at a party when he gets as uncomfortable as I can't stand being here. It just blows up to
Yep.
pieces.
Yeah. That's just my breakout. I get a countdown and people have no idea what it says because it's just those weird numbers that are on there. But I thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Shawn, what can we reveal about
So
future
first, make
episodes?
sure you follow us on all the socials at In Madness Pod and hit us in the mail sack, because not on the next episode, but I believe the episode after, we are dipping into the mail sack. In Madness Pod at gmail.com. Ask us a question about Predator, about any of the Predator movies, about any of the movies we have covered in the last year plus. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure you give us the 5-star reviews and all the likes. Make sure you check out the In Madness Spotify playlist, which is now going to feature Long Tall Sally from Little Richard and the Predator theme song. You could blast. It's going to be like 4 hours of music. I was listening to it this past weekend. There are so many classic hits on there, and a song will come on and I'm like, why the hell is this on? And then I'll remember the movie that we added it from. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, perfect. And make sure you spread the madness. Tell everyone you know about this podcast if you think they'll be into it. Check out any of our episodes. It's not a continuing thing. You could literally start anywhere and work your way backwards, forwards. It doesn't matter. If you work backwards, we get progressively worse, but if you go forwards, we get progressively better. So, listen however the hell you want. What can we tease for the next one? We're doing a 0.5 for the next one.
Yep.
There is a theme. We're going to be doing the next couple of episodes with this theme. I don't know if I'll say the theme, but I mean, we just did Predator, so guess the theme. We're going to do a 0.5. Then after that, we're going to be doing a special 0.75, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I think all we need to say is we'll be doing a 0.5, but it's going to be a movie themed 0.5.
Yes, for the
Right?
first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pure one film 0.5.
Little shorty. So you got all your United Bits and you want to hit your plugs?
Sure. Vertebrae 33 on all social media. I have t-shirts for sale at my store as well as in all Hot Topic stores. And that's it. Check us out. Leave a review if you can. Give us a 5-star review. Give us whatever it is on Spotify, anywhere else you listen. We're available. You can go on Amazon and find us through the Audible app. We're on there too. And on YouTube as well, so you get to see if we show any cool stuff or what
Boobs.
we're wearing or what's that?
Boobs.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen on YouTube, but
my boobs. Man, you can do man boobs. Yeah, I can do mine.
Yeah. Shawn's gonna take his shirt off for the next episode, and you threw me off with that.
At Vertebrae 33 on all the socials. Vertebrae33.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it.